Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the October 14, 2024 Board of Aldermen meeting for the City of Town and Country. I would ask everyone to please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would ask the city clerk to call a roll for attendance.
Alderman Allen. Here. Alderman Harder.
Here.
Alderman Hughes. Here. Alderman Murphy.
Here.
Alderman Schwer.
Here.
Alderman Steinhebel.
Here.
And Alderman Weesahan.
Here.
I have Alderman Kinsella as absent, Mayor Remus presiding, and we do have a quorum.
Thank you. Before we go on to approving the minutes, I just have a couple things I want to comment on. First off is last Saturday evening, we had Fire and Ice, and what a wonderful event that was. I don't know if you have an exact count how many people were there, but it was a very robust crowd. Every section of that park was pretty much filled with people, and a lot of people having a lot of fun.
Yep.
So that was a wonderful event. And the city parks department, administrative staff, everyone did a great job to make that come off seamlessly. Congratulations to them. One other point I want to make just real briefly, I do want to mention that in the county, early voting starts on October 22nd, and I would actually encourage people to do that. I saw a feature that said the average ballot in Missouri this year takes 16 minutes to fill out. I think there's going to be a lot of long lines on election day. So you don't have to have a reason after the 22nd of October to go vote. And it's on the county's website, the places you can go, just something to think about. And the final thing I want to comment on even briefly, more briefly, is, as beautiful as Fire and Ice was and what a community event, earlier in the day, we had a very unsettling episode with basically some neo-Nazis on Mason Road waving swastikas. Believe me, the city was aware of it. Our police were there. Mason Road, as you know, is a county road. The county police were there. Everyone was aware of their presence. These were not, obviously, folks from town and country. They were not folks from Missouri. They were out-of-state folks who were slightly sophisticated in knowing their rights. They knew that if they stayed on the sidewalks and didn't confront people, they were well within their First Amendment rights. And our police force, though, was there monitoring it along with the county police department, and frankly, probably saved some of our own citizens from being arrested who were going to go up to confront them. And the people who would end up being arrested would have been the people who confronted those people. And I think that's what they wanted. I think they wanted the publicity. I'm glad this thing blew over in a day or so. They're gone, and hopefully those kind of reprehensible people we will not see in our community anytime in the near future. Next, talk about the minutes. The minutes from the September 23rd, 2024 regular meeting, seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Before you vote,
I just wanted the record for the minutes and for all the public hearings related to that, I reviewed everything. So
we did double check, and all in favor, aye? Okay, and then from the retreat on October 3rd, seek a motion and second to approve.
So,
Second.
Any discussion or amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. This is the time where we hear from citizens. I'm gonna say, we have 5 people who asked to speak. 4 of them, I'm gonna say till we get to the public forum with McBride. But there is another citizen who wishes to speak on a different topic. And so it's either, I'm not sure, Dr. David Brigham or his wife, which one wants to speak. But David, you please come and welcome.
Thank you.
And just for the record, you need to state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm David Brigham at 946 Delta Drive. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank Barbara Hughes for her efforts with MoDOT in achieving the development or the construction and placement of the guardrail right in front of our building over here. We needed it for a good number of years. There were several cars that have come off the highway and landed down on the fence and almost ended up on the outer road, which I use every day back and forth. And I think it's a well-deserved thank you for you, and appreciate your efforts with MoDOT.
And I'm going to thank staff too as well for helping out with us.
I would have just one question and ask if there would ever be any efforts put forth to get the south outer road paved. It's really rough. The concrete is deteriorating in a lot of places. There's a lot of bumps and cracks and ripples in it. And of course, the people that live on that area have to drive that all the time, and it's tough on the cars. So if anybody could ever say a word to MoDOT about that, I appreciate it.
Yeah, then we were aware of it for sure, and we are working to try to make that happen. That gentleman right there, Michael, is working very hard to make that happen.
Thanks, Mike. Well, anyway, thank you again for the guardrail, and
You're welcome.
welcome.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
We always appreciate those kind of comments from the public. Thank you. Next, we do have, I think, 3 public hearings. First one, and I will read it, a public hearing to review a request by Larry Alvis, owner, for approval of a conditional use permit for an accessory structure, a storage building located at 10 Country Air Drive in the suburban estate zoning district. I now declare the public hearing open and would ask the city clerk to enter exhibits.
Exhibit number 1 is affidavit of publication of notice of hearing, published in the St. Louis County on September 27th, 2024. Exhibit number 2 is typewritten notice of hearing, posted at the municipal center, on the city's website, sent via Notify Me, posted on the subject property, and mailed to property owners within 300 feet of the subject property with a list of those owners attached. And exhibit number 3 is bill number 2452.
Thank you very much. I would invite Ken Bialka, the owner's representative, to the podium to answer any questions. And I would open it up to the board at this point, if they have any questions or discussion about this topic. Alderman Stein.
Thank you, Mayor. Has there been any comment from the neighbors about the shed?
Not that I'm aware of. No comments.
Okay.
Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this structure? I now declare the public hearing closed.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
The next one is a public hearing to consider zoning code amendments related to the regulation of land development in section 405.1710.a and section 405.1710.b. I now declare the public hearing open and would ask the city clerk to enter exhibits.
Exhibit number 1 is affidavit of publication of notice of hearing, published in the St. Louis County on September 27th, 2024. Exhibit number 2 is typewritten notice of hearing, posted at the municipal center, on the city's website, and sent via Notify Me. I'll also note for the record that this notice was sent to the property owners within 300 feet of the related Woods Mill Crossing development as well for reference. And exhibit number 3 is bill number 2453.
Thank you very much. I would invite Ryan Spencer, our city planner, to the podium to answer the questions. And we'll open it up to the board at this point if they have any questions or discussion for Mr. Spencer. I would, Alderman Weezant.
Yeah, thank you. Ryan, just I know we've had some conversations about this development for some time. Can you just explain the specifics to this development, how it's identified, to be able to be a planned non-residential development compared to?
Are we talking about the next item, or are we talking about the zoning tool itself? Just to be clear.
What would be in regard to, I'm talking about the rezoning it to the planned non-residential.
That's the next public hearing.
Okay. All right.
These are zoning code amendments, some of which are fairly benign in terms of language.
Okay, I apologize, I'll wait till the next one. Thank you.
Are there any members of the public that wish to comment? And I declare the public hearing closed. That life will always be that way. Our third one is a public hearing to review a request by McBride Barrett Land Company LLC, owner under contract for approval of a change to the official zoning map of the city and county country to rezone a site of approximately 11.58 acres at 14302 South Outer 40 Road from the commercial zoning district to a planned non-residential zoning district in association with a preliminary site development plan in order to develop a mixed-use community consisting of a 12,000 square foot multi-tenant commercial building and 14 8-unit condominium buildings. I now declare the public hearing open and would ask the city clerk to enter exhibits.
Exhibit number 1 is affidavit of publication of notice of hearing published in the St. Louis County on September 27, 2024. Exhibit number 2 is typewritten notice of hearing posted at the Municipal Center on the city's website, sent via Notify Me, posted on the subject property, and mailed to property owners within 300 feet of subject property with a list of those property owners attached. Exhibit number 3 is bill number 2454. Exhibit number 4 is email in support from Julie Ledlove, 730 Cedarfield Court, dated September 18th. Exhibit number 5 is email in opposition from Catherine Beal, 1516 Topping Road, dated September 27th. Exhibit number 6 is email in support from Karen Guidera, 737 Crackle Lane, dated October 14th. Exhibit number 7 is email in support from Angela Alt, 14232 Manderley Woods Drive, dated October 14th. Exhibit number 8 is email in support from David Alt, 14232 Manderley Woods Drive, dated October 14th. Exhibit number 9 is email in support from Ben Rothmail, 14341 Manderley Woods Drive, dated October 14th. Exhibit number 10 is email in support from John Paul Rorden, 14341 Manderley Woods Drive, dated October 14th. And exhibit number 11 is email in opposition from Susan Schwezer, no address provided, dated October 14th. And I'll note for the record that all of those emails that came in today's date, I made a hard copy for the board on the dais, in case anybody missed them being forwarded.
Thank you. At this point, I would invite a McBride representative to the podium for a brief presentation and then stay there to answer questions.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman, my name is Jeannie Elwell. I'm with McBride Homes. Pleasure to be back with you this evening. We have a team with us tonight that are here to answer any questions, including representative from STAC and our CEO, Jake Eilerman, and Jeremy Roth, who's president of our land development company. So we were here several months ago. We're here with an entirely new plan this evening. We're very proud that we were able to address many of the comments that this board had at the last public hearing, many of the comments that the Planning Commission had on the first go-round, and also balancing that with the interests of the nearby residents and making sure that we address their concerns as part of this process. So We have had multiple meetings with the surrounding residents, both on the last plan and the new plan. I'm very happy to report that all of the residents that we've been talking to are pleased with this new plan that we're presenting to you this evening. I think we're all very familiar with this site, so I'm gonna go fast through these. It's just shy of 12 acres. We all know where it is and what it's surrounded by, but we are talking about a very critical transition site that's surrounded entirely by commercial on 3 sides, very intense commercial, and it borders to the south a residential community. So it's a balancing act to find the right use to transition from that intense commercial to the residential. And we can see, we're all familiar as we drive by what it looks like today and what is surrounding that very intense, high-density commercial office use. It's unique because of all those surrounding uses and because it abuts residential to the south. Why a lifestyle community works here. So what our proposal is still a lifestyle community, but dramatically different than before. It fulfills that transitional buffer. It's supported by the neighboring residents. It does not impact traffic. It takes an existing eyesore and changes it into a phenomenal new community for the city, and a wonderful greenscape buffer. The comprehensive plan, just to talk a little bit about that, the comprehensive plan actually identifies this site, and it actually states that residents want homes with less maintenance. So that was one of the comments we heard from this board the last go around, is to provide a maintenance-free lifestyle community, use elevators, have 1-floor living, and we've achieved that. Also a desire for a lot more greenscape and landscaping on this site. So here is the project. It is dramatically different, like we talked about, from the previous proposal. So I want to start out just by looking at the green space, the significant green space. This site is 50% green space, huge. So we concentrated that green space from an aesthetic standpoint as you're driving along Wood Lake and South Woods Mill. We really wanted to have a huge impact about what that green looked like, so we added that lake. We're adding over 2,100 trees and shrubs to this site, new trees and shrubs to this site. This is gonna look like a park. I have some great renderings, which I'm gonna show you in a second when you're driving by it. We also, you can see right of way, some changes between now and the previous plan. We reduced the access points from 4 to 3, which I think really makes a lot of sense, doesn't break up the site as much. The main thing you're probably gonna see besides the green space is the reduction in rooftops. With the detached garage on the townhomes that we were proposing last time, we were looking at with 80 townhomes times 2 with detached garages, 160 different rooftops. You're now looking at 14 rooftops. These are luxury condominium buildings with 4 stories with an underground garage, 2 units to a floor. That makes 8 units to a building and 112 units total. But you can see the site much more organized, and we've centered that commercial and also increased that commercial square footage in the center of the site. So now we're up to 12,000 square foot of commercial with a 2,600 square foot patio. That is gonna be a multi-tenant use, but with a primary use of a restaurant with outdoor seating. So just to talk a little bit about the aesthetics and the feel of the site, what's so great is that you're going to have this luxury level of living, this maintenance-free lifestyle. This entire site and the units, the buildings themselves are gonna be maintained uniformly by a homeowners association. So you have that ability to, if you have another property in Florida, you can just drop the keys, not worry about the maintenance of this product. You have the ability to now have that lifestyle that you want with your neighbors. So you see a neighbor down on the patio having a glass of wine, you can join them down there. You can kick the ball, throw the ball with the kids or the grandkids in the green space. This is a true lifestyle community. You'll also see one thing we really tried to concentrate on and we achieved is that we hid all cars, all automobiles. You're not seeing one parking space from the roads, those are all hidden behind the buildings, and the garages are underground. So a de-emphasis of the automobile and an emphasis on pedestrian and green space usage. So public benefit, we're talking about this now, continuous park-like landscape greenway. Over 2,100 new trees and shrubs, fulfills 2 of the comprehensive plan goals, creates a neighborhood restaurant and retail that will add to the city and draw from around the other communities too, to use those commercial retail. So this is just a great perspective. As you can see, now you're just looking at green, and you're looking at water, and you're looking at people having fun, having lunch, having wine, having appetizers out on that patio. And you can now see how cool these buildings are. That outdoor space, I'm gonna call it a balcony, but it's much bigger than that. That can seat a full outdoor dining table. So when you talk about lifestyle, you can say, hey, I'm gonna order up food, I'm gonna go down there and order food, I'm gonna meet my neighbor. This is a true lifestyle community. Less maintenance without sacrificing luxury. Mixed use creates a walkable community atmosphere, strategic green space along the roadways. Here's just another perspective showing you, hey, there's areas to have picnics, there's areas to throw the ball, there's areas to walk the dog, in addition to the lake and the green space up front. Just another perspective with the commercial in the background. This is the renderings of the buildings. You can see we've concentrated masonry and glass treatment on the front elevations of the buildings. These will be the elevations that will be visible from the streets. And you can see that's the rear elevation. And you can see the sides. And then we have added a lot of masonry treatment to the sides of the buildings that will be visible from the roadways. Well, buildings 1 and 14. This is some renderings of the proposed commercial space, complementary of the architecture. It's going on in the residential. These are some interior renderings showing you the high-end luxury features that will be in these units. These units are going to be standard 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. We will offer buyers the option to convert one of those bedrooms into a flex space, so like a workout room, an office, something like that. So these are very flexible living spaces, can accommodate a lot of different family dynamics. So just to recap what we heard from this board, from the Planning Commission, and from the public, too many buildings. We reduced those buildings from 160 to 14. We want more retail. We increased that square footage from 4,300 to 12,000 square feet. We want homes with bedrooms on the first floor or elevators. We achieve that. Each one of these buildings has an elevator that takes you from the garage to your floor. And all one living when you get to your floor. We want more public benefit, more green space. We achieve that with 50% green space and really concentrating that as a nice green buffer out front. And the detached garage was not popular, we heard, so now we've incorporated those garage spaces in the bottom underground for the buildings. So the zoning, it's existing commercial. What we're asking for is a change to the planned mixed use category that will be updated in your zoning code before final passage of this zoning ordinance. This is a summary of the zoning request that the Planning Commission voted on. And in conclusion, public benefit. We're going to see probably more sales tax now from this commercial site with the increase in the commercial over what's existing today. Public benefit of replacing an eyesore with a signature greenway gateway to the city. Sidewalk connectivity along Woodsmill. I want to talk about that really quickly. McBride has offered, and the city has accepted, a $100,000 escrow to be placed with the city for eventual city's construction of a sidewalk connection to Manderley on Woodsmill. So we're happy to have accommodated the city on that request. And it's supported by the neighboring residents that we've been talking to, which I think is really cool, that balancing act between achieving all of the comments we heard from the Planning Commission, from you all, and the residents. It's really an ideal transition land use planning. It achieves a housing need that's needed, a luxury condominium maintenance-free lifestyle community that's lacking in the city, and that people are leaving for other cities close by. So it brings that product to the city in a perfect location. You couldn't think of a better location for that transition from that high-density commercial to that residential to the south. I'm very happy that it received unanimous approval from the Planning Commission as a recommendation at their meeting on September 18th. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions from you all or from the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before I open it to the board, I usually don't weigh in with comments, but I am on this project simply because it's been a process to get here for a long period of time. At one time, that was a wonderful shopping center. those days are gone, mainly because of not because of the owners of it, but that changes, times change, highways change, roads change, and that's a tired place now, and it's been a process to get here. It's often a painful process to get here. Mistakes have been made, probably some of them by myself. But we all learn as we go along and adapt. And again, to your part, two things I think are quite evident. One was that planning and zoning did pass it unanimously. Secondly, that the citizens who have been most engaged with this all along from the very beginning, almost to a person, are now supporting this project. And I think that's a lot of progress. So I feel like we're finally kind of mostly got it right. Nothing's ever perfect, and I'm very happy about that. At this point, I will open this up to the members of the board for any questions they have. Alderman Harder.
Just a couple of questions, requests. Several of the residents in Ward 3 have reached out to me and had asked if I would present these to you. I agree with the mayor. A lot of things. You guys have been very responsive, very respectful, and you worked hard. And you listened. The first one that was brought up, on the lake, are there plans to put a fountain in that lake? They expressed that it would look so much nicer and improve the water quality.
I don't think there currently are plans to do a fountain. We can look into that. Fountains have a lot of maintenance issues, as you probably know, but we can definitely look into it. There aren't current plans.
Okay. They asked me if I would please ask you that.
Yes.
Then another thing that was brought up is the vehicular density. Because as we know, on the previous project, there was 68 units, which would have been theoretically 68 to 136 vehicles. And I know that MoDOT has already signed off on this, and I greatly appreciate you getting that signed off prior to bringing it to it. But their concern with 112 residences, you're looking at 112 to 224 cars, maximum. And as the commercial develops, their concern is, okay, the traffic could get progressively worse. Is there a way we can reduce that? One of the things that was brought to me is if we reduce it from 4 stories to 3 stories, that would be 84 units instead of 112. And that would be roughly 84 to 168, providing 2 cars per unit, which would maybe give us a buffer for growth on that commercial as far as traffic's concerned. So that maybe another couple of years, we wouldn't have to worry about changing Woods Mill or South Outer 40. I mean, that was a concern that was brought up for me.
So it's, we met with a lot of the surrounding residents too, and I have not heard that concern. CBB has been our traffic consultant, and they've concluded that this will not negatively impact traffic. And that's what I think MoDOT relied on when they wrote their concurrence letter, which MoDOT signed off on it. So I can tell you that we don't anticipate, based upon expert advice from CBB, we don't anticipate traffic volumes having any negative impact here. In fact, I think it'd be kind of good to have some uses here that have more energy, but again, not a negative impact on traffic. To cut the density in any shape or form would be a problem for us right now, and we would not be able to go forward with that. But again, I want to reiterate, CBB has taken a hard look at this. They prepared a thorough traffic study that was submitted to MoDOT. MoDOT agreed with it and concurred with it. So we do not see any negative impact based upon what we're hearing from our consultants.
Okay.
Thank
I was
you.
just asked to bring that up
Thank you.
by one of my constituents.
Yep, thank you.
Alderman Museum.
Thank you, Mark. One, I do appreciate the effort that you and your team put into these changes. Specifically, I appreciate that the retail aspect of it has increased a lot. It's a significant change from the original proposal, I think. It really does add a greater component to allow for, really having this mixed-use development. I did want to just ask, maybe you can explain, we had some conversations, can you just explain some of I guess the hurdles in particular to this site that you're facing with the redevelopment from, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, relocating gas lines, just the differences in this site, why this is, what you're going through, or any developer would go through with this site compared to most others?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I mean, we have, this is not, an empty space, right? So there are a lot of complexities with this site. First of all, relocating that gas pipe that exists on the site, demolishing this building and make sure that's done correctly. Also being surrounded by these types of uses, you're just restricted on what you can do with this site. So this development costs, because this is an infill project with a tear down to demolish project and relocation of utilities, including gas pipe. Installing buffers with, we didn't talk about this, but one thing that we talked about with our neighbors to the south is planting installing a site-proof fence, plus intense large arborvitaes right there to screen them entirely from the site. So there's additional costs that are significant that are associated because of what we're against here, and we want to buffer and be good neighbors, and because of the demolition and because of the relocation of the utilities. It's a very, very expensive project, because those are just some of the reasons.
Okay. All right, thank you. I had a couple other questions. And this might be for you, Ryan, I might have misspoke on identifying this site specifically, and it's kind of a question that might overlap from previous public hearing, previous topic in this. But with regard to the changing the plan non-residential to the next use, can you identify where else would that zoning, why is it applicable to this site? And then, I know it's kind of turning back over to the previous.
Sure.
But where else could this be applied, even this sort of a development in town?
First, it's a geographically limited district because there's certain qualifying characteristics that property has to have to be eligible. One, you have to be zoned office or commercial, so it's very limited in our community. You have to be adjacent to a freeway, you have to be adjacent to residential in order to have a residential component. And you have to have commercial at least on one side. So there are only 4 properties in town that qualify, and this is the only one that's developable at this point. The others are either functioning as they're intended to as office, or the most recent was the Wellbridge redevelopment into the rehab hospital across the town country crossing. So it's literally on count on one hand the properties where you could apply this. There's really nowhere else that is developable under these conditions.
All right. Thank you.
Alderman Steinhubl.
Yeah, I had a few questions. Thank you. I am a big fan of this over versus the first presentation, so thank you. A few questions. One, did you look at this without commercial space? And is it viable without commercial?
So one of the things we heard at the very early stages before we even submitted the first plan is that there was a lot of interest to keep some form of commercial here. I also think in our design, independent of hearing those opinions, it makes sense as part of the lifestyle community. I think it's going to be, the commercial is going to be, right, honestly, for this product, an amenity. I think people are going to use that kitchen, that restaurant to order up, to dine down. It makes a lot of sense putting it in the center. We had it off to the side before. I think it really makes this community a signature community, that lifestyle community.
Obviously, many people disagree, and I'm one of them. Again, is it economically viable without commercial?
We haven't analyzed that.
Okay. Maybe you should. Secondly, the interiors that are not brick, would it add significant cost to make it all brick? Because right now you go to downtown Kirkwood, which is a nice community, I don't know if it's as nice as Town and Country, and all four sides are brick.
Yeah. So what we did was you could kind of see from this perspective that you will not be able to see those interior
But the people that
signs.
drive down the driveways will, and if I walk there, I will.
Yeah.
So again, I'll ask,
So
does
again,
it add significantly to the
it
cost?
does, and so we really wanted to
To price
concentrate.
people out of the building completely?
For us, it would be cost prohibitive to continue with this project for that. We really wanted to concentrate that on the end units and on the front and rears. I mean, we
Oh, it
really,
looks nice.
yes.
I think having the whole building
Yes.
brick would look even nicer.
Yes.
And I would say that most people that have commented, so the one person from our board that did, that was one of the sticking points, is it's gonna be all brick. To be more in character with Town and Country. Third, of the 3 condos that I know of currently existing in Town and Country, the one being the most open would be the Mason Village. The other 2 are gated for truly lock and leave for our residents, right? People that really have a second home and want to leave. Have you guys looked into a plan that maybe this is a gated community that's just residential?
So we have not looked at the gate, but I think with the commercial, you would not want to do that
Well, I'm
because.
thinking without the commercial.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
So no commercial, you make a gate that fits in with the 2 other nice developments within the community.
So
I think
the,
Town and Countries would
Yeah.
want to see some continuance of the nice things that we have in this town. And to me,
absolutely.
that's not big addition.
Yeah,
No
so.
commercial, gate, brick.
So one thing that we heard though was that the commercial needs to stay, and we heard that from a lot of people. And we heard it from some of the surrounding.
Let me tell you, I'm sure some people have. Those aren't the people that are buying these, those are the people you're asking. The only place I know that had forced commercial within a residential community is Green Trails. And if anybody goes to see what a dump that commercial's turned into, it's horrific. And they wish they had never done that. But that was the developer who said, this is a lifestyle thing, it's called Green Trails, and we're gonna put commercial in the middle of your development, and now it looks like crap.
So-
Again, when we don't control what goes in there, I don't care how nice, unless the restaurant is gonna be Napoli 5, right? There's gonna be trash, there's gonna be people smoking, we've got people on decks overlooking that. All I see is poor Chief Wilkie answering a bunch of calls about loud noise. There's people in the parking lot loud, there's people driving cars through. I mean, to me, again, we represent the people that currently live here that would consider this. To me, those are concerns of theirs. Like, yeah, I think they love the idea. Like, I think they look great. But to really be the community for people in Town and Country that want to downsize, I would say the majority would not want commercial. I think if you consider gating it, like Fairfield and like, Pembroke, I think is the name of the other one, right behind the hospital, what's that one called? Pembroke?
Something like that, is that?
Ashley, you're Miss Town and Country, Pembroke.
Yeah.
Thank you. Much more fitting with the city of Town and Country.
I would say I would, one of those people who was asking for retail is the mayor. As we are looking to, have $1 million budget shortfall for the last few years. In fact, there is some retail in there at the present time. And to completely turn our back on the potential of, will this be a huge retail? No. But will it be significant enough to pursue it? Yes. And I think that, I mean, you can make an argument, any restaurant, anywhere, it's just full of trash or this or that. I think you're kind of being a little bit unfair to that potential development, frankly, the way you're explaining.
Yeah, well, but my concern is in general, just commercial in a nice residential area. Because yes, I agree with you, we need commercial. But I mean, we have restaurants that are struggling now within our community, adding another one that we have no control over what it might not be the best benefit, right? And God knows what the other stores might be, right? I mean, we don't know. And to me, once we lose control, we've lost control.
Well, which restaurants do we have control over?
None, but we also have control to go to them. And I see some that have had to have lunch hours added because they're not getting enough people, residents, to visit them. So to me, if we
But
did
there
their
are
job supporting
multiple
more
restaurants that has
we don't
quite a
really
waiting
know.
list to get in.
Well, but you know, the Chinese place closed, Masa's closed, the only one that's left open is the smoking bar.
Well,
To me, that's-
Casa was closed because it knew it was gonna be redeveloped.
Well, but maybe it's not. All I'm saying is that was, there were some great restaurants there that have all failed. And the last one left is a smoking bar, which I would not want to hang my hat on. So,
Alderman
Lots
Murphy.
of questioning, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, fellow Alderman. Nice to see you guys again. Been a few hours on this one now. Just a few questions on this one. I know it's modified and evolved over time. I just want to get from your words what the target demographic for the owners would be in your view. What are we looking at?
So we sell to everybody. We
Sure,
don't have a
understood.
target demographic. We can see actually all types of families buying here. Some retirees, of course, some young professionals, and some families. I mean, I think you're gonna see it all here.
So a couple of things I'm kind of curious about, and it kind of gets into design creep, I know. For the family appeal and all that, wonderful on 50% plus green space. If you're a kid though, there's nothing to do there. I don't know if like now or in the future, any thought for, swing set, jungle gym or something like that, or if there's an area that you could reserve for that type of thing. I see them sitting on the grass, but I'm talking about some kind of active, active thing where the kids can hang out. I guess another one would be around the lake if there was thought or consideration of having a pathway around it just for people to take a stroll, that type of thing.
We could look at doing some kind of pathway around there. And I think it's great to keep some of the space open. It can be flex space, throwing balls, a little kickball, things like that. But we can definitely look at some the trail around the lake, using that a little more.
Now, do you have a restaurant in mind right now, or?
No, we want to get the zoning done first before we go marketing to potential tenants. We want to make sure that we have a project that we can sell to them. So, but we're very interested in getting a signature restaurant there, signature tenant that will be very complimentary to the neighborhood, not only for our existing residents that will move there, but the surrounding communities too. I mean, we've heard from the neighbors that they'd love to walk there, the neighbors to the south.
So just looking at the condos that are in town right now, a lot of them kind of look like a house, in front, the facades are like that. What have you done to kind of modify or adjust to a town and country typical look on the facades of these buildings?
So really what we wanted to do with the architecture was produce something that was a little more modern, but also timeless, not too modern that it would be dated in about 20 years, 30 years. And I think that we've really achieved that with the concentration of the masonry and glass on the fronts, and really that outdoor space on the front. It is a unique project. It's not like your typical condo that you're gonna see in town and country. So it is different products, but really concentrating those architectural masonry elements on the front, that glass, that emphasis on glass, and the views from the units, and that usable outdoor space, really important as part of this mixed use lifestyle community to blend indoors and outdoors.
Collectively, we might debate where the future of what's going on with electronic vehicles, but they are here. I believe they're going to continue to grow myself. That's debatable, of course. Will you be able to support EVs?
So we're looking into that right now. I mean, it's a discussion we've had, and we are trying to accommodate that in the garages, but we're still looking into those plans.
We offer it as an option in our current product, so it would just be, as somebody wants it, we could add it.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Alderman Murphy, I'm pretty certain within an hour of putting in this one said you'd be getting calls about noise.
I'll get all those trees to block the noise and release my feet.
Alderman Allen.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to confirm that after these are sold, then there would be an HOA.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, from day one before they're sold, there's going to be a homeowners association already organized. But that homeowners association will be in place by the time the first closing happens, and will be maintaining the buildings themselves. There's a lot of maintenance here that goes into this. This is not going to be a very low cost monthly fee. We're looking at $1,000 plus, maybe even $1,500 for this fee. We're still budgeting, looking at that, but that's per month. Because you think about this, you have elevator maintenance, you have the garage maintenance, you have cleaning in the hallways. These are shared hallways with the elevator going down. So there's a lot of cost here, and we want this to be a very well-maintained, high-quality community. All this green space needs to be maintained, all the trees. So to answer your question, yes, it will be formed before the first closing, and it will maintain all of those things, plus more I just mentioned.
And as a former resident of Cedar Springs,
Yes.
very close to the Woods Mill Plaza, the comment that Alderman Harder had about the fountain, Alderman Murphy about playground equipment, to me, over time, that HOA could have the desire to create those things. And that typically goes on the purview of an HOA, maybe not the developer. Is that correct?
Absolutely, they would have under our standard, like, if some people call it indenture, we call it a declaration. In this case, this would be condo, it would be a declaration, but, they would have the ability to add those things if they want to. Absolutely, we put that power in the declaration for them. And some feedback we received on fountains from communities that we've installed them, some love them and some wish we hadn't put them in because they are a maintenance headache. So you can talk to people and get 20 different opinions, but it's something we're gonna look at.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Louisiana.
Thank you, Brenda. Just about a couple of comments, I do appreciate the idea of making sure whether the initial owners would want the EV charging, that the infrastructure would be there.
Yes.
On that site ahead of time. The other question I had for Ryan, if we were to take out, or the developer was to take out that, the commercial portion of this, what, is this even a viable option with what the proposal?
We struggle.
But I mean, would, if.
It's not allowed under the current district. We would have to restart the zoning process.
Is there a zoning district that allows this sort of, these buildings without any, if it's just residential?
No. It would be a planned, one of its kind district for this kind of transition site.
So there had to be a new zoning code, if that was something that came up, it'd have to be a whole new zoning code just for.
It'd be a standalone district. I mean, we've done them a number of different times, but for this type of project, we've not done one.
Even for residential only, it would allow for this sort of, this much development?
If it's a planned development, I mean, it's a standalone district, we create the regulations for the property, and it's blessed by the board.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I do like the idea that if it's, if it is this dense of residential, that there is another component, whether it's the commercial retail, whatever's in there, to have something in there to offset that it's 100% residential with this sort of density.
It's had retail on it since 1977.
Sure, no, I'm talking about this proposal moving forward, that there is, that we have, I like the idea that there is being applied as a mixed use. To my point that, I was not aware that we could do a 100% residential with this dense of housing.
As a planned development, barring any legal issues, I mean, there's all sorts of projects that you could create with a planned development district. I mean, that's why we entertain the esports arena, right? And it's a fairly unique project on its own that needed a unique district.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Alderman Stein.
Thank you, Mayor. Hey, Ryan, I had a follow-up too, but Chris just asked, or excuse me, Alderman. Sorry. I'll just say Chris again. Yes, thank you, Mr. Phillips. We go ahead on that first time. Have we done tax revenue versus, or excuse me, commercial tax revenue versus property tax
For this specific site,
for any site, for anything? Like what we would bring in personal property or property tax versus what commercial would deliver? What's the break even?
Well, the commercial would pay property tax as well as the residential, as a matter of fact, more property tax.
Okay.
And then the retail also generates sales tax, which goes to our general fund, our capital improvement, our park stormwater, all those sales taxes. And then they pay business license fees, as we all learned about at the retreat. So more property tax, sales.
Because there's trade-off per square footage, like X number of houses equal X number of square footage, commercial space, all in.
The commercial would do much more in revenue to the city.
No matter what
To,
size.
yeah, to a residential, because all you're getting out of the residential, and plus the commercial pays utility tax, where residential pays 0 in utility tax.
Thank you.
I've had 4 constituents who wish to speak, and first one is Julie Ludlow. If you'd like to come forward. Just do your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Julie Ludlow, 730 Cedarfield Court. I am just to the south, the house in the middle. And I am really thrilled with this beautiful development. I'm excited about it. It is really, it's great quality. I'm excited about the sidewalk. I can walk to whatever the restaurant would be. Maybe there'll be an ice cream shop. Who knows? I know it'll be nice. I'm excited to see it. I've been a resident of Town and Country for over 20 years. I've been at this address for over 10 years. I've never had any noise pollution that I could hear, like even when it was more crowded with Massa's there. I would go to Massa's 2 or 3 times a month, either carry out or eat there. It was super convenient. I loved it. I can't wait to have another restaurant there. I'm thrilled about the possibility of just even walking around the property. I can't say enough about it. I think it's a home run. Nothing's perfect, absolutely not, but they've been willing to discuss and meet with us about our concerns. The new fencing will be beautiful, high quality, nice plantings, and I would just love it to pass. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Actually, I have 2 more. One, next is Karen Guidera. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. I'm Karen Gadira at 737 Craffle Lane in Manderley. I've been before you many times for every one of these developments. I supported the previous McBride proposal, but I have to tell you, this one's even better. I'm very excited about it. We're excited to see the introduction of something that well, first of all, we've been residents of Town and Country for 25 years. We like the community a lot. We don't ever want to have to move really to a senior living center. Maybe we will, I don't know. But we may want to downsize one of these days. And this would be ideal. And I love that aspect of it. I also love seeing the green space as you come in. Even in its better days, that development was not the kind of gateway you'd like to see introduce you to Town and Country. If you notice, Manderley has beautiful landscaping, having that same kind of look at the entrance to our town will be wonderful. And so I hope you'll approve it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And last speaker, Sharon Rothbaum.
Hi, I'm Sharon Rothbell, 725 Craffle Lane in Manderley subdivision. I'm a trustee, but I'm not speaking as a trustee. I'm speaking for myself, for my husband Steve. He concurs in what I'm going to say. And what I'm going to say, I'll start by saying we really urge you to approve this development. We can't think of any real downside from it. The commercial is a great addition. There really is no place else in town to build new commercial of the quality that we suspect this will be, that'll generate sales tax for us all and maybe lighten the load of the incoming property tax in the future. We think that the green space will be a terrific improvement. All of that landscaping, the lake, all of that, as Ms. Gadara said, It'll be a wonderful entrance to the city. It'll really speak well for the city that we've been able to approve and create a development like this that'll really save town and country. You know, if we're known for our green space, for our open spaces, this will be very evidently a town and country development. We'll have new residents in the city. Residents pay some tax as well. At least there is some tax generated on a capitation basis, I understand. So that'll be a good thing and generate more for the bottom line too. The developer is going to provide funds to help us get the sidewalk that we've been begging for so long. We have very little ability to walk on Woods Mill Road to get to anywhere. At least this will be a somewhere, and we will be able to get to it. The restaurant that was there was Masa's. It was a very successful restaurant. It's gone now. It was a real mainstay for this part of town. We hope to have something equivalent to that. And as our neighbor next door said, maybe an ice cream shop, maybe a coffee shop, maybe a Starbucks, something like that, where we can walk over and spend some time during the day. It's lower density than just about anything else you can imagine for this site. You know, we're seeing these senior living communities everywhere. I don't think we really need any more of them. They're not generating income. They're kind of islands to themselves. They'll be open to the community, to the greater community, the commercial, as well as the housing. The occupants will be permanent. They won't be renters. They'll be owners of their property. They'll have that pride of ownership. They'll be citizens for town and country, bring some new vitality to the development and to the neighborhood, to the city. The effects of the development will not intrude into any of the nearby subdivisions. Thank God, we will not require roundabouts. We will not have noisy widenings. We will not look like a big city out in front of our houses. So we are saying, for all these reasons and more that I can't really think of right now, please approve this development. We are 3 years into this, and we are just getting worn down. We want to see it sold, closed, developed, beautiful, an asset for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the public, we just finished that? You did fill out a speaker card, who would like to speak? Dr. Briggs.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, and this relates to the construction of the building.
Could you probably speak to the dais?
Do you have any pictures of the parking lot under the garage?
We have a diagram to show you of the floor plan. I think I have that in the presentation.
And then while you're looking for that, are there gonna be stairs next to the elevators so you can go up and down
There'll
the
be
building?
2 sets of stairs at either end for emergency.
Okay, there. And then the other thing, the buildings all have flat roofs. Are there gonna be air conditioners on the roofs? Or will they be on the ground level, or they'll be underground, or where will the air conditioners be? The other thing, is there parking for the commercial?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and then the other thing is about the lake.
Mhm.
I've lived with a lake for 35 years. And in the summertime, you get stagnation and you get weeds. And so you can't have a lake like that without a fountain. I don't care what it costs, you're gonna have a fountain. And then the second thing is, when it rains and we get 5 or 6 inches one night, the lake's gonna flood. Is there a spillway, or is there a place for the extra water to drain out? So you haven't shown that.
Yeah, so
But those are all infrastructure questions, and I can tell you, you're gonna run into those problems. Eventually, they're gonna nail you.
So Stormwater Design's our engineer, and they've accommodated
I'll
for,
sit down.
yeah, they've accommodated for all the stormwater design, and as we move through the improvement plans, that'll be designed. Stock's our engineer on that, so I have no concerns. Stock is a first-class engineer, so that's stormwater. I thought, sir, and I apologize that I had a diagram of what the garage is going to look like. I do not, I just have the units, but essentially you're gonna have some storage down there for each unit and a space, you'll have 11 spaces down in the garage and an elevator, 2 stairwells.
2 cars per unit?
Every unit gets 1 car in the garage. Plus you have an additional, so there are 16 spaces, so 2 per unit. 5 of those are outside and 11 of those are underground. Okay. And there's separate dedicated commercial parking, like to answer your question. And to add on to that, there's also an additional amount of flex spaces that can be shared between guest residential and commercial, guest residential and commercial guests.
Air conditioners.
And air conditioners are on the rooftops, yes. Yes.
I noticed that there were several of the condos are gonna be looking over the commercial roof, meaning the view of their porch is gonna be right on the roof.
Actually, just one probably. Yeah, well, yeah, just like half of two of them, yeah.
Decorate the roof with something.
Yeah, okay. We'll see.
You know, they're doing that in Europe, you know, they're building like.
If you're gonna
parks
speak,
on-
please come to the.
Parks on the roof and stuff like that.
Mr. Days. Podium.
If you have a rooftop that you're looking at and you're on the fourth floor and you're looking down on the two-story building, you're basically looking at a big old flat roof. Well, that wouldn't be very pleasant. If I was gonna buy that fourth floor, I would want a little green space on that roof if you could put one on it.
We've got some green space in between those two.
Yeah.
So right there, so they'll really be looking down on that green.
You really need to address the board. It's
Might-
public hearing.
This might block the view of the big roof there.
I think what it will do is it'll provide a nice green space next to those buildings, so they'll be buffered from the commercial, and they'll be looking down on that green, yeah.
Well, anyway, just a thought.
Alderman Louisiana.
Thank you. I had one follow-up, two follows for the sidewalk. I know it's not the, not gonna be the make or break for it, but just for clarification, I think it's a great thing that you're willing to do for the city. In regard to when the sidewalk can get developed, it's not, would it cover 100% of the cost of the sidewalk, or is it a portion of it?
Michael.
Is it a city, would it be a city project or a developer project?
It would be a city project,
Okay,
and we would look for federal funding to help us with the cost of that.
okay. And just to follow Alderman Allen's point, if this was turned over to an HOA and this money's in escrow, does it go into the HOA's escrow, or how does that work?
This money will be escrowed by McBride with the city, and so it has nothing to do with the HOA. It's not refunded to the HOA. In fact, it will not even be refunded if it's not used within the time frame of the ordinance. It won't even be refunded to McBride. It will be used for some other addition on the site, probably long after McBride is built and gone. But the HOA is not connected. It's not on the escrow. It will not receive the funds.
So it's a guarantee that McBride will participate in some regard?
So the ordinance requires us to post that $100,000 escrow at record plat approval. So at the time we record a plat, subdividing the first condominium building, we have to deposit that $100,000 into escrow with the city. It is there. We're not expecting it back based upon the conditions of the ordinance.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Alderman Hughes.
Thank you, Mayor. As I'm sitting here, I wanted you to ask you to please elaborate on parking. If somebody has a party, they want friends to come over, they want to get something delivered by Amazon, what's the accessibility with regards to traffic?
Okay.
Flow.
So just talking about parking, we talked about those 11 spaces that are in those underground garages, right? And then you can see those 5 additional spaces that are dedicated for each residential building right there. And then you have the dedicated commercial right here, that parking behind the commercial. That includes 47 dedicated commercial spaces there. And then, if you just look with me around the site, and again, we wanted to hide that parking, so it's hidden back here. You see all those spaces around the perimeter there? All the way and going up this way. All of those are, we're calling flex spaces. That adds an additional 72 spaces beyond the dedicated 2 per residence and beyond the dedicated 47 commercial. That's 72 flex spaces that can be used by, to your point, someone has a party, guests, or there's an overflow, maybe there's a party at the restaurant. So that's plenty of excess guest overflow for either use.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Stein.
Thank you, Mayor. Hey, Mike, I have a follow-up for you. Mike, what would you estimate would be the total cost of the sidewalk?
We don't have an estimate yet.
Just best guess based on all your work on sidewalks.
What did I tell you?
About 300,000.
Yeah, it was about 300,000 I came up with.
Okay, so nothing crazy to the comment or, okay, thank you. And is it, I'm sorry, I think I asked you this last meeting, is it a private or public road? Public.
It's a state road, sir. It's a state road.
I'm sorry, the development, will those be?
Private.
Will be private?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I now declare the public hearing closed. There are no appointments. At this point, I would allow the board's opportunity to provide any reports that they maybe to Alderman Murphy.
Thank you, Chair. Well, thank you to all the sponsors and supporters of a very successful Fire and Ice event that was held on October 5. Special appreciation to Marie Tito for funding the fireworks display. In other news, the Drace Park Pavilion construction materials have started to be delivered. Construction is moving forward now. Thanksgiving is not complete without some aerobic exercise, so please watch for details on our website about the turkey trot. And finally, the Winterfest is set for December 7th at Town Square Park. More details to be posted on the website. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Allen.
Thank you, Mayor. Thursday is October 17th. In the morning, 8:30, we have a Ways and Means Commission meeting here at the Municipal Center. And at noon at Longview Farm, we will have the task force for the tribute for veterans and first responders. And we are getting down to the nitty-gritty, and that's cool.
I understand there's a groundbreaking coming in November.
You understand what?
There's a groundbreaking coming in
And
November.
there's a groundbreaking on Veterans Day, and I have already talked to Chief Wilkie. And the hope is that we'll have also a very strong presence for our first responders because they're with us every day and we appreciate them.
Absolutely. Thank you. Alderman Hughes.
Thank you, Mayor. The next meeting of the Architecture Review Board is set for Monday, November the 4th at 5:30 here at the Municipal Center and all our lodges.
Thank you. Alderman Stein.
Thank you, Mayor. And for those interested in attending the next Public Works meeting, that will be next Monday at 5:30. We're starting an hour early to accommodate some special requests, but all are welcome as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Shelton, I don't believe you have any.
No report, Mayor.
That is good. Unfinished business, bill number 24-49, sponsored by Alderman Allen and Murphy. Without objection, would the city clerk read the bill for the second time?
Bill number 2449 is an ordinance approving a conditional use and authorizing a conditional use permit for an accessory structure, a pavilion located at 538 Conway Village Drive in the city of Town and Country.
Thank you. I seek a motion and second to approve.
So we
Second. Thank you. Any discussion or amendment? I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
Alderman Weezahan.
Aye.
And Alderman Steinhebel.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4655.
Thank you. Next bill number 24-50, sponsored by Alderman Hughes and Schwer. Without objection, would the city clerk read the bill for the second time?
Bill number 2450 is an ordinance approving a conditional use and authorizing a conditional use permit for an accessory structure, a residential driveway gate located at 1824 Topping Road in the city of Town and Country.
Thank you. I seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or amendment? I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
Alderman Steinhebel.
Aye.
Alderman Weezahan.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
And Alderman Allen.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4656.
Thank you. Next bill, number 24-51, sponsored by the board as a whole. Without objection, would the city clerk read the bill for the second time?
Bill number 2451 is an ordinance accepting the proposal from Motorola Solutions for the purchase of an in-car camera system and a body-worn camera system, authorizing the city administrator to enter into a 5-year agreement for same, and approving a purchase order for the first year's installment.
Thank you. Seek a motion and a second to approve.
Second.
And some discussion, Alderman Weezand.
Just a quick comment, we discussed this at the Police Fire and EMS Commission a couple weeks ago. It was unanimously approved and we have support from the commission for this.
Thank you for those comments. Alderman Harder.
After the first reading, I spoke with Chief Wilkie, because I was curious what other departments may be using this system and what their response to it was. He got back to me real quick. There are currently 19 different departments within the state using this system. We reached out to Frontenac and Festus, got very high reviews. So I just want to thank you very much for looking into that for me and making me very comfortable with this.
Thank you.
Good comment. I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Weezand.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Steinhubel.
Aye.
Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
And Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4657.
Thank you. Moving on to new business. First is approval of a purchase order for a landmark Dodge for one Dodge Durango police vehicle in the amount of $43,535. I seek a motion and second to approve. Thank you. Any discussion on amendment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimously. Next, bill number 24-52, perhaps sponsored by Alderman Hughes and Square. Without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2452 is an ordinance approving a conditional use and authorizing a conditional use permit for an accessory structure, a storage building located at 10 Country Air Drive in the city of Town and Country.
Bill number 24-52 is continued to the meeting of Monday, October 28, 2024 for the second reading and consideration. Next, bill number 24-53, sponsored by the board as a whole. Without objection, with the city clerk reading the bill for the first time.
Bill number 2453 is an ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 405, the zoning regulations of the Town and Country Municipal Code, specifically by the amendment of Section 405.1710.a and Section 405.1710.b regarding types of planned development districts.
Thank you. Bill number 24-53 is continued to the meeting of Monday, October 28, 2024 for the second reading and consideration. Next, bill number 24-54, perhaps sponsored by Alderman Hughes and Schwer. Without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
For that one, because of 2454, would the board as a whole be comfortable sponsoring that one as well, given that it's in Ward 4?
I would like.
Bill number 2454 is an ordinance amending Article 23 of Chapter 405, the zoning regulations of the Town and Country Municipal Code, by enacting Section 405.1804 and granting a rezoning change of 11.58 acres for the development to be known as Woods Mill Crossing, located at 14302 South Outer 40 Road, from its current commercial district to a planned mixed-use development district for a mixed-use community consisting of 12,000 square feet multi-tenant commercial building and 14 8-unit condominium buildings, and approving a preliminary site development plan for same.
Thank you. Bill number 24-54 is continued to the meeting of Monday, October 28, 2024 for the second reading and consideration. Next, bill number 24-55, perhaps again by the board as a whole. Without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2455 is an ordinance approving a unified sign plan in connection with the development known as Woods Mill Crossing, located at 14302 South Outer 40 Road in the city of Town and Country.
Bill number 24-55 is continued to the meeting Monday, October 28, 2024 for the second reading and consideration. The warrant list is in the amount of $335,383.39. Seek a motion and second to approve.
Second.
Any discussion or amendment? Alderman Steinhubel.
Thank you, Mayor. Hey, Bob, I just wanted to thank you. I think your attempts to clarify for us in advance and your note on Friday was extremely helpful. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. You're welcome.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? I do not have any other topics to discuss. I will open it to the Aldermen who has any other topic they'd like to bring up that was not on the agenda. Seeing that, then I would see not that. I will seek a motion and second to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, everyone.